What is going on, everybody? Jay here from Maji and Jay. Today in this video I'm going to be reviewing, in my own words, the Blu Vivo 5 that I purchased from Amazon.com about 2 weeks and a half ago. Now at that time this device was a little bit more expensive than it is now because it wasn't available, was in back order, so a lot of sellers take advantage when they have it, and I end up paying $260. But if you guys are interested, you can grab it for $199 at Amazon Prime, and as always the link has been provided below in case you guys really want to take a look at it. Now I have to say that if you guys are looking for a budget phone that has great build quality, great display in my opinion, and also a stable operating system, then this is something that you guys want to consider because it even supports 4G LTE here in the USA. Now the MTK processor here is going to be the 6753. It is Octa core clocked at 1.3 GHz, it's 64 bits. It comes with the Android 5.1, but hopefully it will get the update for the Android Marshmallow 6.0 anytime soon. It comes with 3 GB of RAM, 32 GB of internal storage, and you can upgrade it with a TF card here on the side, in which we're going to be talking about in just a moment. The display size on this phone is 5.5 inches. It has a resolution of 1280 by 720 pixels, and I know that this could be a bummer for a lot of you guys, but let me tell you that it is a Super AMOLED display and the colors are very vibrant, and even on viewing angles it does very well, so it makes you forget the 720p resolution. On the top there we got a 5 megapixel sensor together with the ear speaker, the proximity and light sensor, and right in the middle of the ear speaker we're going to find a notification LED light. Towards the bottom we got the menu key, the home key, and also the back key. This time we don't have it on the operating system, which is something that I truly prefer on any smartphone out there. Now on the left hand side here we find the metallic frame. This is a unibody device, so everything is going to be just one piece as we can tell here, and yes, it is made of aluminum. Now the SIM tray is very unique, I would say, according to most devices that are sold here in the USA. This one is a dual SIM, dual standby. Now you can also fit a TF card up to 120 gigabytes, which I know is something that a lot of you guys are looking forward to. The internal battery is a 3000 mAh battery. Now unfortunately we cannot get it removed because this is all sealed up, as we can tell here, and maybe we can remove it, but it has to be done through a professional service. On the back there we got a 13 megapixel sensor camera with the LED flash, and this is not a dual tone LED flash, as we can tell. We have the secondary microphone, the blue logo, and on the bottom is all plain. On the right hand side of the device we got here the volume rockers up and down, also the power key. Now like I mentioned in the unboxing video, this one is actually quite comfortable because they are quite separated, and you can easily tell by looking at the device from the front which one is the power key and which one is the volume rocker, which is really cool. Looking on the bottom side of the phone we got what appears to be a stereo speaker, but no, one of them is the microphone and the other one is the loudspeaker itself, together with the USB Type-C connector there. And this is definitely convenience. I do prefer the USB Type-C because you don't have to worry about which side is which, something that I do struggle with my Samsung Galaxy S7. Now getting a look at the operating system, as I mentioned earlier, is carrying the Android 5.1, and here we find the lock screen is very clean. On the bottom you just have the time and dates, and I do prefer the bottom because if you have a nice wallpaper, it's not going to get obstructed by this information. Unlocking the device, we find here a very cool theme in my opinion. I do like it, even though we don't have an app drawer, but sometimes it's okay to change a little bit the rhythm. I mean, I have an app drawer already on my Samsung Galaxy S7, and I've been having it on pretty much every device that I own, as you guys can see here. So sometimes changing a little bit is a good thing, but if you guys don't like it, you can definitely download your own launcher. It came with a lot of stock applications. Now the cool part about the Blu Vivo 5 is that it doesn't come with bloatware. Most of the applications are very useful, especially the Google one. It came here already with the Google search. We have Chrome, Gmail, Maps, YouTube. We have Google Drive, Music Play, and such, as you guys can tell here. Now it came already pre-installed with the Play Store, so you guys don't have to worry about getting this installed. We have seen that on many Chinese devices where they don't come with the Play Store. Now recently, I would say since 2014 and up, this is a rare issue, especially if you guys are getting a name brand device, whether if it is Chinese or American, it doesn't really matter, you will get the Play Store on there. Now also came here with notes. It came with the FM radio, and yes, the FM radio does work quite well. We can also see here a sound recorder. Now the interface has been changed, which is something that I find to be cool. As we can see here, it's very different from our standard Android application, which is something that I was looking forward to. The notes is also different. okay, as we can tell, and we have a compass. The compass does work very well. The GPS on the device is working flawlessly. I don't see any issues whatsoever. Now, before we jump into the rest of the applications available, I would like to take this opportunity to test the GPS with you guys here briefly. So here we have the GPS application opened up freshly. And on this side of the house, I usually get poor GPS reception for the most part. And that is a constant struggle that I have, but it's also a good time to test it on a bad position. That way we know how good the GPS is. Now the accuracy starts improving after a minute or so. Right now we have about 12 meters of accuracy, which is not the best, but when you get outside it goes down to 2 or 1 sometimes, which is fabulous, especially for a phone of this price. So yes, we can tell that the GPS is working perfectly well. Now here we have other cool applications. Even the calculator animation has been changed on this theme. As we can tell, it's a lot more colorful. And also we have here another one, which I'm forgetting right now. I think it's the music application. And yes, it is. This time we can do so many changes on here that is just unreal. Let me go ahead and show you. So this is the standard look of it. We have all songs. It will read it from your memory, of course. We have playlists so that you can have it by singer. Also, we got folders so that you can check it directly from your SD card or whatever the case may be. And then we have more. Now, out of all these settings, some of them are pretty basic, but what I like here is the equalizer. It gives you the option to change it by device that you have connected. So if you have a standard headset, you can just change all the effects of the volume here. Okay, so you guys can tell we have classic, dance, folk, heavy metal, jazz, pop, rock, and user. User is for custom settings. So yes, you can customize it the way you want to. And also we have it for ear headset. We have it for earphones, headset. Also, we have it for sound boxes, and you can again also customize it. So this is a very nice feature that I like about the music application. It's something a little bit different, and that's why maybe I like the Blu so much, because they have gone a little bit above and beyond to change the user interface. Also, we got here videos. And videos is pretty standard. They just change here the animation a little bit and also the colors in the background. Also, I almost forgot to mention that this one comes with 2 cool applications on here that came already installed from factory. One of them is called Chameleon. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and I do apologize if I'm not. And the other one is Theme Park. So when we open this one, it will allow you to use the camera to focus on colors that you guys may like. So let's say I like the color of the let's say the Galaxy S7 box. I can just focus that. And then let's say I like the color of this butterfly. Do apologize. Let me go ahead and bring this over here. So let's say I like the color of the butterfly. I can go ahead and get it on there. You can see it does read the color. Then I select preview, and it'll give me a background, as you guys can tell, using these colors. So it would just mix them up. Then I select OK to use it as a wallpaper, and they are animated. So every time I move it, you can see there's like a little wave in the background, which I find it to be very cool. And it gives you the option to personalize it even more according to certain colors that you guys may like. So I think this is a very cool application to have on there. Now, some of the applications that come also pre-installed, like Amazon, if you guys don't want this, you can also uninstall it because it's not installed directly into the system. Okay, I just want to give you that heads up. Now, here are some of the applications that I downloaded, and one of them is the Antutu Benchmark. I got a score of about 35,000. Now, this is not a great score. Actually, it was 38,000. It is not a very impressive score, considering that we have an Octa core processor, but keep in mind that it is only clocked at 1.3 gigahertz. And this is not a flagship device. So if you compare it here with my Samsung Galaxy S7, you will notice that I got a much better score. But I do have the Snapdragon 810. I also have 4 gigs of RAM, and I have a much better performing device. So let me give you here a quick comparison of what a true flagship will look like, especially in 2016. This is the score that I got, which was 133,000 versus a budget phone, which is 38,000. Again, it is not a bad score, but it's definitely not the best out there in the market. So here we have the system information. There we have the MTK 6753. I forgot to mention that it does have the turbo version, so that's very good. Also, we have the GPUs, the Mali T720, which is so-so. I really wish that we had maybe a Power VR on there. This is the resolution, the camera, and if you continue to scroll down, we're going to find some of the sensors supported on here in case you guys want to preview it, which is definitely great. Now here I use this application called CPU-X, and this is the one that sometimes lets you know if they are lying, if the manufacturer's lying about the processor, and I've seen it happen quite a bunch, especially on Chinese phones. But on this particular one, we can notice that it is real. It is the MTK 6753T octa-core at 1.3 gigahertz, and right now it's only using 2 cores out of the 8. Okay, that's because I have it in relaxed mode. I'm not playing any games or anything heavy. And then here we have the system information in case you guys want to take a look at it. The display has 338 ppi, which is it's okay. I mean, it could be better, maybe if it had a 1080p display. And here we find the network. Okay, we also have the battery information so far, and unfortunately guys, I disconnected it, I would say about 2 or 3 hours ago, so it's not going to be a real test of the battery, but I can tell you that with average use, this phone should last you the entire day. Again, we have a 3000 power milliamp battery inside. We got all the sensors supported on here. We have the accelerometer, proximity sensor, light sensor, gyroscope, orientation, magnetic sensor, and I don't know what this pickup means, but yes, we do have all the sensors supported currently on the device. Here are some of the features. Okay, these are basic features. Unfortunately, we do not have NFC, but we do have Hot Not, which is a famous Chinese type of NFC. You had to do it from screen to screen, so if you have another Chinese phone that is supporting Hot Not, you can definitely pair them and exchange content and so on. We got here camera. Okay, that's the 13 megapixel sensor camera, and after this testing that I'm showing here from CPU-X, I will conduct a camera test so that way you guys can see how well it is performing. So yes, this is the camera, I would say camera features currently on this device. So I'm just scrolling down here, but a lot of this stuff you guys really don't need to read it. I mean, it's going to be sometimes too techy and it could confuse you a little bit. All we're looking for is a camera that records in nice resolution with nice colors and much more. So with this being said, let's go ahead and run to the park, test this camera, and please let me know what you think about it. Hey, what is going on guys? This is Jay, and now we are testing the 13 megapixel camera of the Blu Vivo 5. And right now I am sacrificing the pixels. Actually, it is doing at 10 megapixels. The reason is that I have it at full screen. So if you are willing to sacrifice the pixels a little bit to get a better display view, then this is something that you guys might want to consider. Otherwise, you're going to get the 4:3 ratio, which is going to be a more of a square recording. So right now here I am changing the light condition, and the autofocus seems to be struggling a little bit, as you can tell. I had to tap on the screen if I want a better focus, and now I did, but we know that the background, the white balance is a little bit off. So yes, the camera just needs, I would say, a little bit more optimization in the software. Other than that, if you guys are doing simple recordings like I'm doing right now with just basic panorama, it should be doing okay. Just keep in mind that this is still a budget device. You really can't compare it with the higher end phones like the Samsung Galaxy S7, the iPhone 6s, and so on. Alrighty, so now we got here the front facing camera of the Blu Vivo 5. This is the 5 megapixel sensor. We are recording at 720p, and that's the max resolution that we got on this 5 megapixel sensor. It is expected. Now the cool part is that we can record in full screen. This is not something that we see every day, especially on Chinese devices. Usually the recording has a different ratio, but with this one we can change that, as you guys can tell from here. So yes, it's not going to be the best recording out there. If you guys want this, then I would just recommend the rear facing camera, as you will get a much better quality. So there we saw the camera testing, and again, on the comment section below, let me know what you guys think about the camera. If you ask me, I think it's doing quite well considering that this is a $200 device, even though we don't have optical image stabilization, even though the white balance is terrible. But that's why we have settings on this particular system. They optimize it to be a little bit different from our typical phone. And this is one of them. If you tap here on this little square, you're going to find different modes. One of them is normal mode, which is the one that I was using for the most part. But we also have professional mode, and on here we can change a lot of settings, including the focus, the shutter speed, the white balance, the ISO, and much more. So let me go ahead and close this so I can show you. So here we have the ISO. We can change it to different modes on here, as you guys can tell. So this is very cool. Also, we have the white balance. Again, we can change it depending on the weather that we have outside. Now, I know that here you're going to see some weird lines going across. That's because we're using a Super AMOLED display, and this is very common, especially if I'm using the camera here, so I do apologize for that. Also, we have here the shutter speed. We can change it, as you guys can see, and also the focus. Now, this is the one that I use the most because the autofocus on this device can be a little bit questionable sometimes. You had to either press on the screen too much, or sometimes if you do so, the white balance goes way out of proportion, especially if you focus too closely. As a matter of fact, I provided some pictures below, and you guys will notice that the background sometimes is too white. So yes, that is a current problem with this camera, but again, we can fix it with the professional mode. So here is the focus. As you guys can see, I can control it to where I find it to be satisfactory, and then I can just shoot the picture, which is something very cool that I found out about this device. So now, with that being said about the camera, let's go ahead and talk here about the network connectivity. Right now, I am connected here with T-Mobile, and sometimes with T-Mobile it's very weird because my signal goes down too low to where it goes down to 4G. But then when I'm outside, it does support 4G LTE, and I did some testings on here, and one of them was with the 4G connectivity at low signal, and I didn't get a very good result. As a matter of fact, they are provided here. This is what I got with just the 4G connectivity, but when you do it with the 4G LTE, you get about, I would say, 50 to 60 megabits of download speed, which is quite acceptable in my opinion, but I'm not getting that speed right now. So I just wanted to make you guys aware in case you buy this device, you don't get surprised. So I think that maybe the radio antennas are a little bit weak, and that is expected. Sometimes they cut corners on certain things, and that's one of them. The radios are not very strong. But again, if you're a person that is always doing work outdoors and such, you really don't need to worry about it. On the other hand, the Wi-Fi does work quite well, and I think I have forgotten to show you this, guys. If you scroll from the top, you're going to find your notifications. Now, your toggles are not going to be located on this side of the phone, I would say. You have to scroll from the bottom to the top, and this is where you're going to find all your toggles. Another testing we're going to complete here is the Bluetooth test, as always. So we had the Bluetooth 4.1. Let me go ahead and turn on my Bluetooth speaker here, and this is the replica that I purchased. And let me see if it's going to turn on. There we go. Okay, so we have finally connected to the Beats Pill. Let me just go ahead and increase the volume. Okay, so now we have unpaired. Now we're going to be doing the same test but with the loudspeaker. Now, to be quite honest, with the loudspeaker, I think it doesn't have great quality. I think it's very lousy, it's very scratchy, and it doesn't have a lot of bass, and you really have a hard time listening to it. So that's something that I didn't like about the phone. And again, this phone does have some cons to it, like I mentioned before, and that's one of them. The loudspeaker is just really bad. Now, the next testing we're going to complete on the Blu Vivo 5 is a phone call test. For this, let me go ahead and dial 611. I'm not sure if you guys heard that, but yes, the ear speaker quality is quite decent. Also, the light sensor is working great, so you guys can see that I don't even have to place my finger on the actual sensor. It is very sensitive, which is really cool. I've seen some annoying devices out there where the proximity and light sensor is not working very accurately, and sometimes you find yourself pressing some options on here and sometimes even hanging up the phone call, which again, it could get quite annoying. So there we are, concluding now with the review of the Blu Vivo 5, and I'm going to give you my personal opinion about it. This is a phone that if you guys are really in a budget, if you guys don't want to spend more than $200 on a phone, then this is something that you might want to consider, especially here in the USA, where you're going to get 4G LTE support. With AT&T and T-Mobile, it's a nice, well-built device. It has, you know, for the most part, great features, except that we don't have a fingerprint scanner, we're not getting NFC, we're not getting hi-fi sound, we're not getting any of those cool features, but it still is a very nice phone, especially with this display size. So with this being said, let me know what you think on the comment section below about this $200 phone. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so. Please like this video, leave your comment below if you have any questions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on my next one.